This is like blowing up a balloon. Use your cheeks to push the air. Push, yeah, see? Look, keep going. Okay, stop. Okay, go ahead and start again. Stop. Whoa, stop. Lovely.
Our guest today has close to 3 decades of experience working in glass, color, and light. Join us as we visit with master glass blower Charles Hall. Come on. Charles, what inspired you to become a master glass blower?
Ooh, master, that's very high praise.
But it's true.
Well, thank you. Gosh, I don't know. I've done it for so long, I've kind of forgotten the beginning of it. I just know that I really love doing it. It's amazing material. It's an incredible thing to be able to work with.
And you started in metal, right? You went to school,
Yeah, I
started
did,
in metal.
I did metals. I've done pretty much all different kinds of metals, from machining to casting, forging, jewelry making. Actually, in hindsight, I think it was a really good way to start into this process, because it gave me a lot of information about how temperature affects things, which is so important with this. And so I kind of had a heads up with it before I got into it.
Well, let's talk about your work. If someone asked you to describe your work, what would you say?
I'm not a big mold blown person. I really love the material itself, so I'm working with it while it's working itself. I guess is the way to say it. And so it's just been a process of learning to let go, or learning how to get something to happen without touching it, letting it do what it wants to do. And
so how do you do that?
It takes practice. I wouldn't even know how to describe it. It's like, you want to touch something, but if you don't, what happens? Oh, look at that. It's a process of discovery. It's a lovely thing.
But okay, so let's talk about the process. So take us through it.
Well, so this is a furnace which holds the glass.
All that
there's
wet,
a small
melted glass.
tub in there that holds about 80 pounds of glass. Glass itself is basically dirt. It's the prettiest dirt on the planet. And it's sand. What allows me to be able to melt it is the formulation includes fluxes. And from metal, I have to use flux to do welding. Flux melts at a very low temperature. When it melts, it turns really acidic, and it eats the silica. So while you think it's melting sand, it's really the flux is eating the silica into solution. And so it happens at 2,300 degrees, something like that. That temperature, can I say the story now?
Yes.
That temperature is hot enough to cook a fully frozen jumbo shrimp in 1.5 seconds. But it can't be a straight 1.5 seconds, because that would explode it. And it has to go in, out, in, out, in, out, done.
Okay. Now, okay.
And we
yeah.
cook beef tips in here too. They take like 15 seconds. They're lovely. It's meat candy. It's so good.
Okay, so you
gather the glass.
Gather the glass.
Glass comes out. Hopefully I've made some sort of decision in my head before I start working, so I know what it is that at least I'm trying to make.
Okay.
So my colors will be ready. I'll have other tools out that I need. But then I love working with color. I think glass and color are they're fabulous together. So I color things, and then I'm adding things in places, but it then is going to move the way it wants to move because of the things I put in the places that I put them. So
because of the balance.
Because of the balance, and
Okay.
because of the extra masses and temperature, it causes movement in certain directions. But I just let it do its movement as much as I can. I'm not pulling it out or forcing it to do that. And so I think my work retains a lot of fluidity, retains a lot of the properties that the glass has when it's molten. And I really like that. I've done a lot of ocean work. And I think my glass lends itself to looking like it's grown on the bottom of the ocean. It has a very, very, alive feeling.
Well, and then you take it out of here and you spin it.
You have to keep moving. You have to keep moving it. It's liquid properties, so it is affected by gravity. It's affected by centrifugal force. So any type of movement like this is going to elongate it. Any movement that goes like this has a tendency to throw it out. Then hold it up and down, and it's going to try to fold in on itself and fall. And I mean, all those are viable ways to get the glass to move. You know, and sometimes it's as simple as just stopping turning and letting it do something.
Right.
You know,
right.
there's just pretty much every movement you do is going to have some effect on it.
The whole time you're working, you continually put it back into, what do you call that?
It's called a glory hole because the minute you pull it out of the furnace, it's starting to cool. As
Right.
it cools, it loses its softness,
Right.
becomes hard, and if you want to keep working, you have to reheat it.
So you can experiment, but you have to be careful because it is very hot. I mean, like for example,
Oh.
how many times, can you even count how many times you've been burned? Or
I couldn't even tell you.
You still have your eyebrows, I see.
It just, yeah, sometimes. I mean, if you're counting your burns, you might as well not bother.
Right.
I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to get cut. You're going to
Yeah.
get burned. I want to be here. I like doing this stuff, and I've never even considered the time. You know, I mean, I know how long I've done it, but it's not like,
Yeah,
oh,
how long?
28 years.
Yeah, 28
but
years.
I'm not saying like, oh, 28 years, you know, like, poor thing.
Well, let's go back to talking about the creativity of it and how you put it all together. So talk about the variety of pieces that you make.
Well, it kind of large.
Well, just rattle off a handful.
Well,
so conch shells, vases.
Well, vases, bowls, ornaments, all that basic stuff. But then I started making fish. I've made coral trumpets. I mean.
So that sounds difficult. So just talk about the difficulty, the degree of difficulty. So you'll make an ornament, which is probably one of the simpler things you make.
But it still takes a little bit. Honestly, I think an ornament, it probably took me 4 years to be able to make a good ornament.
Okay.
It's not, this happens a lot. People come into the shop, they see me work, and they go, wow, that's so cool, I want to do this. And then they try it, and they're like, man, this is hard. I'm like, yeah, it is. There have been so many days where I've walked on broken glass, you have no idea. And so many times where I blow something, and it goes bloop, and it's just something weird. It's really intentional, and part of that process was learning how not to do things.
Right.
You can totally mold something, but being able to do it free in the air and letting it do what it wants to do, it looks better to me.
Yeah.
But learning how to do that it takes time. People say, how long did it take you to make that piece? And I've literally gotten to the point where I say 28 years. Because I wouldn't have been able to make it if I hadn't been doing this work for that long.
So you were 2014 State Ambassador of Glass. Tell us about that.
I was chosen by the Artisan Center of Virginia, and I'm not quite sure what other responsibilities are, but the Artisan Center, I've been involved with them for, 5, 6, 7 years, and they are fighting a good fight for the arts in Virginia, as far as I can tell. They put together Artisan Trails. I've been on the Artisan Trail. I think I still have a sign for it. And
So that's a nice deal, though, to have that honor.
Yeah, I mean, I put it on a resume.
That's good. That's there.
Yeah, 'cause
So
it's lovely.
you're here at McGuffey. Talk about how long you've been here.
I've been in this building for 14 years, I
So
think.
here in Charlottesville.
14 years.
And another 14 or 15 in New York.
In New York, in the Finger Lakes, yeah.
So talk about some of the galleries. Your work is in different. We have some local spots that you have.
I've worked in Vivian's, which I've sold to Vivian since I came to town.
Wow, on the downtown mall.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, it's been a really good symbiotic relationship. I tell people to go down to her, she tells people to come up to me. I've gotten some custom work out of it, and I get to display work in a great place on the mall. I sell at a place out in the middle of nowhere called the Barn Swallow.
Oh, that's
No, I
on
know.
250.
No,
That's
they're lovely.
fabulous.
No, they're
That's
lovely.
fabulous.
And I sell at the gallery at Sunspots where I work.
Which is in Stanton.
Which is in Stanton. But I used to do shows from, Maine to Florida, Chicago to New Orleans, and I've traveled so many miles, and it's just at some point it got kind of tiring. And that's not to say it won't happen again. It's just it's how I want to push.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of what's been going on since I stopped doing shows has been a different kind of grounding. And so it's more like instead of running out trying to sell my work everywhere, I'm just slowly, if it happens, it's going to happen.
So this is going to be green and yellow specks with a little swirl in it.
you do shows here. McGuffey has an annual open house
Yeah,
every
the
December.
holiday
right?
open house. We've done that ever since we've been in here. We have an open door policy for the public, and I also do benefit work for Second Street Gallery. I've done benefit work for Piedmont Craft. I'll do it for anybody that wants to do it.
And can people just walk in your studio when you're here, or should they have an appointment?
Oh, it's now with the time that I'm spending in Stanton, I'm going to have a couple of days that are going to be open to the public, but generally it's going to be by appointment, and it'll probably
Yeah.
be people who've already done it. I get a lot of repeat people. Like, people love it. They think
Yeah.
it's the coolest thing in the world, and it is.
Yeah.
It's-
So talk about this passion that you have for color and for light.
I mean, it's like everything. Color and light it's all of it. You know, you see it in everything you look at. Glass, something about the way glass transmits or reflects, and the distortions that it makes, and how it, I mean, you can, like, I'll make a simple paperweight, but then I'll grind a lens in it, and so you can look at this thing and see this pattern of color. But then if you look through the lens, it's a completely different perspective of the same thing. And and you can do that with glass, and you can't do that with other material. Metal is beautiful, but you can't see through it. All you can do is reflect. So that's all you're going to get in its light. Even if you start doing enamel, you're only going to be able to see it as a reflected light. And I love enamel work. I think some of it's gorgeous, but you don't get what you get with glass. And the forming of it, it's 360 degrees to do whatever you want. I mean, it's infinite. You could make anything. And some people are afraid of that, and I just think it's like the most craziest thing ever. Like, oh wow, pick up the pliers and pull. I mean, who knows what you're going to get?